Leo Nolan, thank you very much for spending the afternoon with us. I appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about MBN Brands and your role at it.
How you doing, Ron? Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. My name is Leo Nolan. I'm a partner at MBN Brands. MBN Brands is a multi-unit franchisee. We own and operate Jimmy John's, Burger King's, and IHOPs across California, Utah, Missouri, Colorado, and Georgia.
Excellent. And you said you acquired these over the past year. How has coronavirus changed your world?
So we did the first acquisition in March of 19. It was 11 or two deals, 5 Burger Kings in San Diego, 6 Burger Kings in LA. And then we subsequently did probably 10 or so more acquisitions in Jimmy John's and IHOPs. And we had a pipeline ongoing, but coronavirus has kind of put a stop to that for the most part. So it's been a really hunkering down, taking a look at expenses, taking a look at vendors, seeing where sales are, and really just taking account of the day-to-day operations.
You are over how many different states?
Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states.
And as a franchisee, have you found it difficult dealing with the different jurisdictions as far as how they've restricted dining in different ways?
Yeah, so absolutely. We have very, very strong operators for each of our brands. So they stay on top of the hour-to-hour changes in all of these states. We've kind of put it into 2 buckets. There's the more restrictive ones, obviously California and Colorado, and then the less restrictive ones, which I would put Georgia and Arkansas in. And so we monitor it day to day. It is challenging, but it's just part of the gig.
From a franchisee perspective, I mean, you own, let's see, 23 Jimmy John's, 11 Burger Kings, and 2 IHOPs. Any
Yep.
difference? One of those is family dining. Have you seen a difference in how that is being treated?
Yeah. So absolutely. IHOP, obviously, family dining. We had to close the dining room. Not. It's a brand that has been kind of got tried to get up to speed very quickly on both the delivery and takeout, and I think they've done a great job. We're in Augusta, Georgia. The 2 IHOPs are in Augusta, Georgia, and we'll be reopening on May 1st. So there's been a lot of work in the past 10 days to 2 weeks getting ready for that, with the focus on really health and safety of our guests and our team members. But with respect to that, we've had to, as we spoke before, stay in touch with the local laws, regs. We got to educate our team on the updates, changes, execute on kind of the social distancing dining room traffic pattern plan, and then kind of deep clean exercise to make sure everything's ready. And then specific to IHOP, there's been, I would say, standard operating procedure changes. They've updated and condensed the menu. They've removed all plastic menus from the tables. Everything's going to be paper. And then finally, there's nothing on the table. Everything, whether it's condiments, whether it's syrup, whether it's coffee, everything is brought in single serving packets. So that's been really the largest change on that side, in my opinion. And it's just, again, it's all to keep people healthy, safety of the guests, safety of our team members. And I think IHOP's done a great job on that front. And it will continue to evolve, obviously. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. On the other front, you were saying.
On the other 2 brands, it's been kind of consistently, they're less of a dining room presence, if that makes sense. We are cordoning off practicing social distancing. So 6 feet between each table, deep cleans, making sure everybody is wearing masks, wearing gloves. And so that has been, that initially was a large exercise to get up to speed with, but there's gonna be minor changes as dining rooms eventually reopen, as opposed to the family dining, casual dining.
Burger King's, you probably had the drive-throughs already. How about the Jimmy John's? How have you done sales for those units?
Yeah, so I would say on the Burger King side, dine in, or sorry, drive through and takeout. Burger King, I would say, or RBI has been on the forefront of the takeout wave. Jimmy John's, though, is a brand that's built for takeout and delivery, right? Delivery, we have our own captive drivers. They work for the brand,
Right.
freaky fast, be there in 15 minutes. So that's been a strong aspect. And I would say about a third of our of our Jimmy John's have takeout. Sorry, about a third of our Jimmy John's have drive-throughs. So we've seen some strength on the drive-through side. We've seen some strength on the delivery side, and then it's just making sure people know we're open on the Jimmy John's side. Putting as many signs, banners out there. Jimmy John's has a really strong catering brand, and we have been dedicating people to getting out there and meeting with these essential businesses, whether it's the retailers, whether it's the policemen, and just saying, listen, we're here, we'll give you a discount on catering, we want to help. And we've also had created a meal drops for VA hospitals. So our partner, one of the other partners, Wyatt Batchelor, is a Army Ranger, West Point grad. And in this horrible virus, you've seen a lot of focus on the healthcare community, but less so on the Veteran Administration. And so the VA hospitals, we have raised, as of today, $13,000 to
Right.
provide meals to Jimmy John's meals to VA hospitals in Denver, Arkansas, Utah, and Missouri.
And are most of those meals for healthcare workers or for also patients?
For healthcare workers,
Excellent.
for VA
Congratulations.
hospital doctors and nurses and administration staff.
Thank you all for doing that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a great initiative.
In bringing back the IHOPs in Georgia, where the governor didn't come out with the or issue guidelines until Friday, where have you gone to for most of your information on reopening?
So IHOP's been great. The Dine Brand guys have been great. They put out a full presentation. They've been more or less ready for this since, I don't know, 2 weeks into this slowdown. Let's call it a slowdown. And so they have been working really, really hard on making sure everybody is ready when the time comes, and that's obviously going to be a local decision. But they have prepped their franchisees for this reopening.
I was reading, I believe, an article elsewhere that you did apply and get PPP loan.
We did.
And
Sorry, we applied. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What was that experience like?
It was it was challenging. Let's call it challenging. We are very grateful that we have great lending partners that guided us through the process. I would say that everything was moving so fast that it was tough to keep up with the daily occurrence. But I got to give all credit to our friends at Atlantic Capital Bank in Atlanta and Pacific Premier on the West Coast. They did a fantastic job just helping us and guiding us through that process.
Congratulations. Did you have to do any layoffs or furloughs throughout the process?
We did have to do some early furloughs. The IHOPs, especially given the dining rooms closed, we were down a material amount. So we had to do some early furloughs, but we're looking fingers crossed to starting to hire back some people as we open dining rooms, as well as kind of we see sales traffic come back, sales comps.
Leo, what do you anticipate? You started making these investments last March in the restaurant
Yes.
industry. What do you
Yep.
anticipate the biggest changes coming out, say in May or June, will be in how you approach the investment in the franchises?
Listen, we're still very, very excited about the space. We think there's going to be opportunity, whether this is a V recovery, which I'm not convinced of, or a W recovery, or something else. We think that this is a very, very resilient industry. We believe that these are iconic brands that have been around for decades, and they will continue to thrive and grow. It might be a bit bumpy in the short term, but we have full confidence. We have full confidence that these brands will survive and thrive.
What problems during this whole process do you think franchise owners face specifically as opposed to the industry as a whole?
So specific to
Being a
franchisees as
a
about,
restaurant
yes.
franchise owner, yeah.
Um, what is I don't know. I got. What do we think? To some extent, you're dependent on the brand and their reaction, and how they deem the best way is to um, react to a situation. Let me put that in a bit more context. Um, Day one, RBI was great. They came out and said, we are going to do free kids meals for children coming in the stores. And they were one of the first movers in that world. And and it was an unbelievable initiative. It brought people in the stores, and it also helped a lot of it helped the community, and you saw it copycatted, and so to that, whether that reaction is positive or negative, you're at in certain times you're at the will of the franchisor.
You're based in New York, which is a hot spot, of course, but your restaurant brands are kind of spread across a huge swath of America. Does it concern you how the states are coming out of this and how they're easing the regulations?
Does it concern me that the quickness or
Just in general, how they're going about it.
um, listen, they have much better information than I do. The federal government, the state government, this is what they are doing 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'm going to reserve judgment on them, just given how hard I know everybody is working to resolve this, and we are going to just work to kind of get our stores open when we're allowed to and we think it's safe to. Again, it's about the guests and it's about our staff, and we want everybody to be healthy and safe.
Speaking of which, as a franchise owner, you have control over some levers. Are there some that you think are more useful to you at this point than others?
Um, we've had we've had so in terms of levers, it is we've taken a very focused approach on sales per hour and making sure our restaurants are open at the appropriate time. You see franchisees kind of taking a haphazard approach sometimes to
Hmm.
this topic, but we have done a very careful and we continue to do careful analysis around um, just even half-hour increments. Is this driving enough revenue from a GP perspective to stay open or not? And so that's one of the levers, at least in the first month of this virus that we have, or the first month that we were very, very focused on.
Uh, Back to what Jimmy John's is doing with the VA hospitals, you have a GoFundMe page linked to that as
Correct.
well, correct?
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
include the story that include that in the story that goes with
Thank
this.
you.
But kind of overall, what do you think that does for your restaurants and the brand as a whole?
Listen, we want to support our communities that we're a part of. We think that's very, very important. Um, and so this initiative, I think, it's important both given that our partner Wyatt is a former, I think he won 2 gold stars and has, among other achievements. It was important to him. So between supporting him and supporting community and supporting the veterans, we thought that was the where we saw a almost an area that was being potentially overlooked a bit, where we could actually provide some real help.
Look, coming out of this pandemic, or I guess we're going to be in the pandemic for a long time, but coming out of the restrictions, what are you most excited about as a franchise group owner?
Excited to continue to acquire stores. We're excited to continue to work hand in hand with the brands that we've been a part of. And we're excited to bring people back to work and then get we worked hard putting together a great team. And unfortunately, we had to kind of scale back parts of that. But we're really excited about getting everybody back to work.
Have you heard any great ideas from your operators about how they're bringing people back, or there's a lot of talk about unemployment being more lucrative now than being employed, but and anything you guys are doing to keep the former workers, bringing them back and keeping a good restaurant unit crew together?
Listen, Jake Brummel, our BK operator, and Chris Harper, our Jimmy John's operator, are best in class, and they've created a fantastic team on both sides. And what does that mean? That means people do want to come back to work. They want to be a part of what we are building and be part of the teams that both of those guys have built. So haven't seen a whole lot of the of the extra $600 in unemployment causing labor shortages. Um, so yeah,
Uh, Looking forward, what are you going to be investing in more restaurants? I kind of hear that, but
yes.
any advice that you're taking or giving at this point that you think other folks could gain from?
Um, Advice on investing. I mean, listen, these are back to the brand. These are great brands that have been around for decades, that will continue to thrive. We view this as a bump in the road, and that we'll be back, hopefully stronger than ever.
And as you have headquarters in Atlanta and New York, uh,
Yes,
you guys are spread across those two cities. Do you,
correct.
do you think that's given you an advantage in this crisis?
Listen, we have team members in New York. The Jimmy John's is based out of Colorado, out of Denver. BK, SoCal Silver King, the Burger King operation is out of LA. We have offices in all our different markets, and I think it's an advantage. We have boots on the ground. We have local sharpshooters who have their ear to the ground and can relay back kind of trends, data, info, what's working in one market, what's not working in one market. And I think the collective knowledge helps better uh, ourselves across all of our brands.
Well, Leo, thanks a lot for spending your time from your New York home office, I presume.
Yes, I'm actually down in Florida today.
Oh, you're in Florida.
I escaped New York for the warm weather when this all started. So generally based in New York, in Florida right now though.
Well, do enjoy Florida. Excited to see you guys come back and see what you do. And please do stay in touch. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything, and stay safe.
Thank you.